Previously on Ray of Joke.
We are focused on the wrong things. I'm not here to take sides of beliefs. I'm just here to say that how this all was handled was very poor. The saddest part is we can't even step back to objectively look at all this and discuss the root causes as a way that can truly make us better moving forward. Let's go to the reasons why maybe someone might not get a. And these are issues that were either present before or have come about more so now. Some factors would include like religious views. There are people that believe that the idea of the body being this natural thing and it shouldn't be tampered with. So they feel that anything therefore unnatural or introduced into the body is therefore unnatural and not in harmony with the body's natural state. So there's that. There's other religious views as well that go into it, but that's one that I've heard, and that could prevent someone from wanting to get. There's also anxiety or distrust. As far as anxiety, it could just be they're uncertain of what it will do with their body. I'm not talking about the conspiracy theories out there, okay? I'm talking more so like there are people that have general anxiety of getting it because they don't know how to interact with their body. They hear different things, like this is obviously functioning on a lot of people's fears, or maybe they also have diagnosable anxiety where certain things do play into that. It can be multiple things that can produce this anxiety, but that could be one of the reasons. As far as distrust, obviously with our healthcare system there is a history, and I'm not going to go deep into that history, but there is definitely a history where people getting their issues taken advantage of for the sake of productive research, to put it as nicely and packaged as possible. Unfortunately, the stories about that are anything but nice and packaged. It's very unfortunate. It's definitely a black mark on the healthcare system, but it's bred distrust, especially distrust in the Black community. Issues with immunity, so there are people that are immunocompromised and they may have to have the vaccine at a certain time. They might not be able to get it at the same time as everyone else, so in that sense they might have to delay. But of course, because they haven't gotten it, people immediately categorize them as like, oh, you don't want to get it because you don't, or I don't know, just something like that. And I'm just like, maybe there's an actual reason that pertains to their health. Maybe they are working with their healthcare professional or doctor to like figure out a better timing of when they can take it. You don't know a person's situation. Someone's citizenship status is something that they could be worried about. In this country, there are people that haven't necessarily attained their citizenship status, and they feel that there'll be like some sort of looking into their background when they go in to get their, and they don't want that extra scrutiny. The likelihood of that happening is very low, but that could either delay someone from getting it. For the record, they don't ask about any of that when you go to get it. At this point in time, the way that the world is, I think they have other issues they want to focus on, but it's a very real fear. There's also the lack of information. Again, there are people that really don't understand how it works, so with the lack of information and the fact that there's so much misinformation out there, people can believe all sorts of things. But like I said, the best rule of thumb is talk to someone in the field. And now we have internet and access to, I know that due to either geography or just lack of money, people can't necessarily afford the same types of resources as others, and I totally get that. But when it comes to your health, and if you really want to understand it, the fact that we have the internet and the fact that you can chat with different people in the actual field from accredited sources is a huge benefit to us, just to even find out just more information. I mean, utilize what you can at the end of the day. Another thing that might prevent someone from getting is also just personal choice. It doesn't necessarily have to feed into the other areas. They just don't want to get it because it's their choice. Whether or not we agree with it, it is their personal choice. Whether or not we want to admit it or not is another story, but everyone has a personal choice with what they want to do with their body and their health at the end of the day. So you can't force someone to get something. That would go into an issue of ethics, which already we've proven with our history with the healthcare system has not panned out for the better. Even now, we're still feeling the effects of the distrust certain actions have bred. Now, as far as what the messaging says, I want to kind of go back to what does this mean when we put out a message that people either do this or else. because that's what it's getting to, and that's what it's already gotten to, with companies even going as far as to fire people, or people having to walk away because they're not going to get the vaccine. What does all of this say in the grand scheme of things? It says that we can use force to get results, that the end justifies the means. And if this is the case, how far are we willing to go? That's my biggest concern about this, because what if it's not just vaccines now? What if it's other aspects of healthcare that we, delve deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and we don't know where to draw the line? And, some of you are probably out there saying that, oh, that will never happen. Well, the thing is, we don't know. After all, we did not predict that we would be in a pandemic, and here we are. So, it's just something to think about. And also, in relation to all of this, the messaging also says that we can subjugate people's decisions instead of empowering them to make decisions that are best for them. Rather than us giving people resources or giving people information, and I know in the media, they've been addressing the issue with, certain races, minority races, okay, not having the same amount of access to health resources and all that. I know they're addressing it in the media and all that, but it goes deeper than just that. I'm talking about not just saying the resources are here and we've provided them, but also making long-term efforts. A lot of this is short-term. People know it. People aren't stupid. People know that these are short-term efforts based on where we're at right now. We need more long-term solutions when it comes to empowering people with their decisions. And we're not there yet. To just put it plainly, we're not there yet. And what I'm afraid this will lead to more lax efforts around producing more and better resources that people need to take care of themselves. That we can just say, we'll provide a quick fix and then everything will be okay. But like we're seeing now, that's clearly not really the case. We have to look for more preventative, more long-term resources for people and actually stand by them. Stand by what we say, stand by the resources we provide, say to the people that you are a priority. Because right now, people don't feel like a priority. They feel like an afterthought. So again, messaging matters, following up matters, accountability matters, all of that matters. Now, as far as health and politics, oh wow, such a disastrous collision course they've had. You know what they say, it's in the worst of times that you find out what people are truly made of? Yeah, I think we've seen that. There's a growing distrust in the healthcare system. And as their resources dwindle, and as their voice in people's health matters dwindle, because we've also seen, I think this is one of the things that a lot of things did not surprise me about this pandemic and how things have come about. But one thing that really was unfortunate, it was disappointing, and it did surprise me a little bit, was the fact that you have public figures commenting on health issues rather than the experts in the field. The public figures had more voice than the individuals that were actually in the field. That was crazy to me. The fact that there's such a huge shift, and with a lot of policies that have come into play, like having each state make their own decisions about what it comes to people doing to protect themselves, whether or not mandating vaccines, all that stuff goes into play. But leaving it up to the state, each state has a different relationship as well when it comes to allowing their healthcare workers to have a voice in these conversations. And a lot of the time, if we see it on a national level where they don't really have voice, then it's going to echo on a state level. And now that you have there's different states responding differently, it's it's just such a mess. It's honestly just such a mess. Going back to the healthcare system, their power is becoming more politically rooted, and because of that, it's going to breed even more distrust, because people already don't trust politics. They don't trust politicians. But the fact that the healthcare system's power is now really being overtaken by politics, it's going to set up the precedent where healthcare workers will no longer be empowered to help people, help in the way that they need to. And then, of course, the fact that we have special interests, we have it in politics for sure. And as far as the healthcare system goes, yes, there are special interests. I'm not going to shy away from that. We have insurance companies that are essentially special interests. They're special interests of the healthcare community, I feel like long-term people won't be able to trust the very system that they need in order to get their health in order. And it will push them away. It will also take away resources from people to be able to make better decisions for themselves and their health. It's we're heading down a very dangerous path with this collision of health and politics. And now, as far as disappointment in the government, that is growing. And it seems like as that disappointment is growing, the government is trying to exert themselves more and more into other areas of society. I've already mentioned healthcare being the case. And of course, there's becoming less of this separation of expertise and more control over aspects of people's choices. Again, just something for us to think about. As far as using this time, like what can we do for ourselves in this moment in time? I know it's a mess, but there is a silver lining. What can we do to protect ourselves? What can we do within our control? So let's use this time to, take more ownership over our health. The virus is here. It is not going away. It's not going away anytime soon, and it may never go away. The thing with viruses is that they mutate in order to better adapt to their hosts. And right now, we're one of its primary hosts. So it could very well be here forever, and we have to just accept that fact. But what can we do now in this moment in time with the state of the world as it is? We can, of course, wear masks and social distance, practice safe social practices. When we are in a social environment, we all each have the responsibility of just being aware. Another thing is, of course, preventative health, taking care of ourselves, like practicing good nutrition, mood boosting activities, balance in lifestyle, and so on and so forth. As far as obtaining information and access to resources, be unapologetic about it, but also be mindful of the information that you obtain. Like, be empowered to consult experts in their fields. Be empowered to seek second, third, fourth opinions. I want to see that silver lining in that people will begin to take more ownership over their health. If this is the direction that we're heading in, they'll feel more empowered to ask, experts in the field questions that pertain to their given situation. They'll feel more empowered to seek second, third, multiple opinions to make the best decision right for themselves. So I want to see this as also a silver lining as well. So here's my call to action to you all. I encourage all of us, and myself included, I put this on myself as well. I encourage all of us to take a pause and just reflect on all of this. Instead of looking to prove a point, let's look to open a dialogue. That is definitely needed. We need to see where did we go wrong so we don't repeat the mistakes of history. And right now this has become part of history. It's just how it is at this point in time. But what can we do to remedy the situation? What can we do to not repeat past mistakes? So I know this was a lot. I had to separate the videos because, of course, it's a lot. Like I said, this video, if I went into every single minute detail, it could very well be a dissertation. But I didn't want to do that. Feel free to leave me your thoughts on this video. I discussed a lot of things here, but let me know if I'm not going crazy and thinking all of this. If there are any parts that you did disagree with, feel free to share them in the comments. I will read them. I'm not looking for someone to share the same opinion. I am looking for someone to confirm that I'm not crazy about thinking all of this, but I'm not looking for someone to necessarily share the same opinions that I have. I do want to know what you all think, because like I said, it's a complicated thing, and not all of us are going to think the same way about it. I am open to that discourse. I want to see if you have any varying opinions about this topic, but this is, I think, the most that I'm going to talk about this topic. I just wanted to really share my thoughts, how I feel about all of this, because I wanted to get it off my chest, but I just wanted to put it out there in the community that we really need a call to action to really discuss where we're at, because I feel that needs to be part of mainstream conversation desperately. So that is the video, and with that, I'll see you all in the next one. Stay golden, you guys.